Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy, P-Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab where I do what I do for you. Got something nice for you today. We back old school. Let's rock. Rightism. 25 rules to live by. Storytelling. Story with a message. There's a message in the story for life. I give life lessons. You tuning and receiving them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. So let's rock. Right thinkers mission, and that's what I'm on, is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking is way of life, and that's what it is. Through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily will help and guide you to obtain your goal of spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission, and that's what I'm on, is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. I give you everything you need to make that happen. So that's what I do for you. So I ask the question, do you know you? It's rhetorical, but if you don't have the answer for yourself, tune in. I can help you with that. That's what I do for you. Get you to know you. A person who knows not that they know not, is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not. It's simple, but you can teach them why. They know what they don't know and they want to learn. All you gotta do is teach them. That's why I do what I do. It's for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do when I can. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. Oh, I can awaken them. Why? I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons, they reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and always to my yacht be true. Back in the book. Title this from Right Thinkers, we rolling. The the veil of ignorance. What it is, what it is. Oh, how to raise the veil of ignorance. Okay, a veil is something that comes down. Okay, ignorance. That's keeping you from seeing. Knowledge raises the veil. So let's get a little lesson on that one. See if you can understand this one. I'm back to teaching, not preaching. Let's go. The veil of ignorance. What's that? Let's talk about it. How to raise it. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. As stated in the ancient Egyptian text, we had our books too, scripture, literature. The book was coming forth by day. The eternal soul, which is the spirit, comes to earth in human form, which is us. Stay with me. I'm trying to break it down as we go, so I hope you can ride the wave and understand it to get the understand I'm trying to give to you. So when the spirit comes to earth, to what? Oh, why am I here? Why we exist? Why are we here? This is going to explain that for you real simple. The spirit comes to earth to learn certain lessons and to become purified. P, like me. Pure, unadulterated, untarnished with what? Ignorance. You have pure knowledge. You have pure consciousness. You have an understanding of thyself. You do that by learning, studying, and living. Ain't no other way. And so when Jesus told you, I am the way, yeah, I'm telling you, that is the only way. I agree with that 100%. Why? Ain't no other way. That why. So let's go. Now, purifying the heart is doing selfless service, doing the best you can on a daily basis, practicing how to be what? A good person. That's how you purify the heart. Our elders knew that. That's what they call God Father. They thought God was their father, and that's fine because they kept him in reference. That's being God conscious. Whether you're Christian, Muslim, or Jew, all you got to do is be conscious of a higher power. Whatever you call him don't really matter. Moving on. So, in the process of spiritual evolution, you have to use virtue as well as you have virtue as well as vice as your experience, and use them based on what your own mental disposition. Every lesson in life, be it good or bad, is a lesson that you should learn from. If it's good, you incorporate it. If it's bad, you don't do it. Simple. We teach our kids right from wrong. Fire is hot. Doing bad things, certain things. We learn that. So as you go through life, come on now, we got to get better at understanding how to just be a decent person. Oh, I gotta be religious. No, you don't. No, you don't. I gotta be no, you don't. Just serve your higher self with what? Respect, virtue, and righteous living. That's all you gotta do. Moving on. So I'm not here to tell you you need to be doing that. No, I'm just telling you the quality that you're gonna exhibit to make that happen. That's what teaching is all about. So if you're ignorant to that, I'm going to enlighten you to that so you can raise the veil of ignorance, of not knowing. Moving on. My goal is to get you to know. And our purity of heart determines what? Our life situations and the outcomes of said situations. We are the controllers of our life. Adverse situation, good situation, don't make a difference, but we're in control. And if you're ignorant of your true self, you're going to make mistakes. Trial and error. That's what human beings are. We're going to try something, see if it works. But if you have knowledge of something, if you learn and study and practice things you need to do, all that trial and error goes bye-bye. Okay, you're dealing with what? Facts, understanding, and know-how, guidance. Let your conscience be your guide. And through what's this? Here you go, perfect example. And eventually through repeated embodiments. What's that? Reincarnation. The spirit got to keep going on. Why? Because the person who had it didn't get enlightened, so he got to go get another one. Hope it gets home. Oh, going home is the key to the spirit. Why? It come here to have a human experience, to learn the lesson, and go home. I said the same concept. Your head have to be on your body, which is your spirit. Mind, heart, coherence. Heart, mind, coherence. They need to function as one. That's how you know thyself. I've been teaching this for years. Let's go see if you can understand again. I'm going back and just rewind and see if I can get my new followers to understand the concept. When you go through repeated embodiments, meaning reincarnation, you've been here before. Yeah. Oh, I had deja vu. Yeah. We are, and by this, we are led by what? By our own, again, our own soul's experience we call living. The spirit comes here in a human form to have an experience, to learn, and attempting what? All the time in the physical body, trying to find that ultimate absolute bliss we call happiness, which will eliminate what? All pain. How can I do that? Reach the level of excellence within yourself. Line your chakras up. Raise your kundalini. Become enlightened. Open the third eye. All those things that you need to do. Everybody talking about it right now. It's the hottest thing going. Yeah, but I told you this 10 years ago, so I'm way ahead of the game. I'm pretty sure of that. Everybody want to be conscious. Yeah, but just know thyself. Let's go. I'm trying to make that possible. All the other stuff to me is window dressing. I don't do window dressing. Let's go. So the reincarnation that you go through, it leads you to try to have experience of what? Eliminating the ups and downs of life, pains and sorrows. Control the emotion. That roller coaster ride will stop. Flat line. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. Obtain self-knowledge. Aspects of every character that give you is God and goddesses. I'm trying to break that down for you as we go. I go back to that, but there's a whole concept of being able to think right, know what to think, why to think, and then you implement it and you'll find out that it works. You ain't got to believe it. Sorry. But the goal is to, again, get self-knowledge. It is because of this veil of ignorance, there we go, as to what our true nature of the soul and of God, that we interact with the universe. Watch this. Pay attention. It gets tricky. As if it really exists. Well, I mean, yeah. We are, okay, when you go to sleep, when you dream, the people that you bring into your dream, they don't know they're there. You do. You bring them there. See the concept? So I hope you can understand it. Watch. All this is internal. This is going on here. Everything is internal. So we are in the universe, but we are individuals in God's world. Again, that's who run this world. We just part of it. Understand that. And we think everything really exists. Now, here you go. If we were interacting with an entity other than ourselves, if we knew the truth, we would what? You ready? Become enlightened. Sages and saints. Thereby, why? Because we achieved the ultimate freedom with knowledge of self. This point is the main theme of Egyptian and right thinking philosophy yoga, and will be more elaborated on throughout this book. This book is what got right thinking off the ground, so to speak. Okay, so it laid the foundation, and this is my baby. This is my Bible. I know this, but if you're gonna learn it, you have to learn the basics and work from the floor up. Sorry. When the spirit, remember, when you hear spirit, you hear God. That's the same thing. The soul, all that's the same thing because it's inside of you. When the spirit, our innermost self, is ready, okay, at a certain point in time, the spirit said, I done had enough of this damn living experience. Let's get this act together. So the spirit now is ready to what? Make the final journey to go home. Meaning it has to find somebody to enlighten to go home. So it's gonna push the agenda a little bit. Watch this, conscious. I like this. Now it wants to go the journey, go back home. It done been out in the world long enough. All right. Now to its source, which is what? God. It wants to go back home. That's my concept. I understand it. Watch this. And it begins now to what? Inquire about the nature of its own existence. When you start to wonder, who am I? Why am I here? Now the spirit's trying to say, okay, my man, you need to stop with this nonsense, okay? And help me out here. All right. So watch this. It's question the nature of its existence, and thereby it causes, watch this, pressure on the mind. The spirit is telling the mind, look, my man, okay, hello, stop the nonsense. And what happened? Namely, the mind is what? Your ego personality. Me, I, selfish, having fun, just living your life. It could care less about nobody else. That's what the spirit said. Listen, we done did this too many times, my man. Let's get it together. I'm the repossession. I'm the one who's getting it now because my spirit said, you really want that? I'm saying, no. Okay, well, that's what you need to be doing. And to prove it, I gave it to my son, and it's working like a charm for him and my grandkids. I come from an era of other side of the law. Okay, we did a little time. So it's been 40 years. I ain't proud about that, but yeah, it's been 40 years. I got no kids that's been in prison, no kids that got jail records, none of that nonsense. So I broke the mold with me. I made the tone. I changed the dynamic of that. I'm proud of that. So understand, when you make a mistake in life, you can always correct it. But if you don't know that's a mistake, you're going to continue to make the same mistake. That's when the spirit said, yo, my man, ain't we did this? No, you haven't, but I've done this too many times. Get your act together so I can go home. And the ego don't care. It don't care. Why? When you're born, the first thing you have is your ego. That's your identification with who you are. You need to be reprogrammed. Why? Because the program you got was somebody gave it to you. That's why I always tell you, I got to deprogram you to reprogram you. That's the concept. Unlearn what you was taught. Why? Because you only knew what you thought in your own mind. That's okay. It don't even get you but so far. So go outside you and get knowledge. And our ba, which is the spirit, watch this. Our ba, which is the individual God consciousness, which is our ego self that we identify, begins now to what? Apply subtle pressure to what? To the ego while it's waking consciousness, while it's in the form of subtle suggestions, with beginning to what? Recognize that the wisdom of our ancient conscious, our ancient scriptures that was written and developed in what? An interest. Now you become interested in stuff that you didn't care about earlier, and you started reading books such as this. Trust me, I did it 15 years ago. Best thing I ever did. $20. Best $20 I ever spent. I keep telling you that. But when you become in tune, watch this, with the pressure of your spirit, here we go. You're now allowing yourself to be what? Guided how? By your intuition, which is aset, which is wisdom, which is the best thing you can have. She taught Haru. She's the ultimate teacher. And that's intuitive knowledge, and that's what she represents. But you have to do some things in order for that to happen. And what the letting go, here you go, in order for that to happen, you have to let go of what? Your egoistic ideas and thought, which we know to be what? Untrue and fruitless. If what you believe ain't working, ain't manifesting, why you continue to believe it? Moving on. Mental purification takes care of that problem. Why? Because if something ain't working, you're going to change it. If something ain't working for you, you're going to change it. So your mental purification requires, you ready? The utmost patience with ourselves. Don't be impatient in the process. Don't want everything at one time. Why? It don't happen that way. And that's the mental understanding that you have to put and have the wherewithal. So when you do that, your interest in what? The world as an absolute reality and that whole notion that there's nothing else beyond this. I hear this clown talking about that. When you die, that's it. Okay, that's what you believe. I don't care what you believe. Could care less. You only know what you believe. So you ain't really studied or learned nothing other than what your ego self telling you. That's the ignorant part. That's the veil right there. He's stuffing from the veil of ignorance. Moving on. And a lot of them don't see it. Moving on. But watch this. They think there's nothing beyond this physical life. That's just ignorant. This physical reality, we know don't last but so long. But what's inside is the spirit. That's the spirit that we know don't die. So what it do? Where it go? Hello, we had a concept. That's all we got. And nobody came back from the dead and said, man, stop with that ignorant ass mentality. Sorry about that. But I get so annoyed with these people. They let talk. They don't know what they're talking about. But I digress. Get back to my lesson. I'm not one of them people. But when your physical reality is left behind gradually, why? You call it aging. You're getting old, the physical body. And now you have what? A new psychological impressions, a mindset, a different mindset. Keep telling you about how you work your mind. And your experiences are introduced until what? We become established in this mental other reality, astral plane. At this point, now what happens? We consider to be what? We wake up from what? The consciousness of egoism. We have been used to and as of what? Waking up from a dream. Wow, I thought that was real. Yeah. It was for you. You lived through it. Okay. But this, what happens now when that happens, you know what that's called? That's called attaining horoscope. It's called right thinking philosophy, knowing thyself, or for Christians, Christhood, or for the Indians, Buddha or Krishna. Whatever you call it, it's still the same thing. You becoming enlightened. You knowing thyself. You knowing you and God are one. That's the goal for human beings. That's what we're here to find out. Let's go and wrap it up. I see the clock. I got a little more paragraph here to go. I'm seeing one page at a time as best I can get out of here, so I'll take that. But the lesson, I hope, is getting across. So let's go. That's my goal. And this was the Egyptian proverb. That which is fundamentally truth, the substantial reality, is beyond true naming, but the wise man called it the all. I called it the one. Same thing. Now in the wise man, I understand why it's the all, but all understand same thing as the one. So I was still on point, different angle. Again, if you make it to the top, if you become successful, you don't ask them how they got there. You at the party, you're just glad to be at the number. That's all. That's heaven. When you don't engage on infringe on people's personal integrity of certain things, that's called respect. Moving on. There, and that's the ancient proverb. Now, wrapping it up, there are many paths, again, to the top for liberation. That's called liberation. But they all lead to the same destination, success in one's life, aka the one, or the all. I called it the one. You know, 11:11. What I do at 1:11, I do it again. That's letting God know I'm in tune. I've been doing that for years. Moving on. How long? Years. All right. But this and that is within. All the one is within. We need to realize that, and all other things that he give life to. This world of apparent multiplicity, which means different objects and people, is really a manifestation of the one true reality. He's living his own life, okay, through all of us, okay. He know all he wants, so he have experienced what? Become a human being and go for the ride. Hello, conceptually. But when you have a complete, full understanding, and that's what I have, of this most important point leads to what? The realization, aka know thyself, of truth. We are gods in the flesh. Christ told you that. This is what's called, you ready for this one? Self-mastery. What is called? Self-mastery. That's what I want all my right thinkers to reach. Self-mastery. Let me wrap it up. Now, again, cosmic consciousness or God consciousness, self-liberation or spiritual enlightenment, or even one better, salvation. I can go on, but I'm gonna stop right there. Why? Because everybody's responsible for their own salvation. So you have to know God for yourself. You can't have nobody standing for you. You don't need a middleman. Sorry. Let me wrap it up. This passion, and I have passion for teaching, but my dispassion is for worldly stuff. My detachment is from worldly stuff and negative, toxic people. That's just a philosophy that I practice. And what's this? These are indispensable sciences to what? To be practiced. That's why. Once an understanding of the teachings that I teach has begun to take root where? In the heart, coherence. When it takes root in the heart, now neither loving nor hating, neither wanting or not wanting affects me. I'm dispassionate, so I'm not emotionally attached to it. I don't concern myself with somebody else's situation, so I don't take care of myself one way or another. So I don't love it, hate it, want it, don't want it, don't have no concerns to me. That's when we are better people. That's when you become self-mastery. You'll be able to make that decision instantly, constantly. It don't stop, okay? All actions, see, all actions should be based on and guided by Maya. I told you I live, eat, sleep, Maya. Every decision I make, pros, cons, good, bad, right, wrong. I make that thought process all the time. Excuse me. I get a little, again, that's the passion coming out. But it's based on truth, justice, righteousness, and balance. Those are all the qualities that you can use when you make your decision for yourself. I do, and that's what it's all about. I'm trying to get you to be able to do the same thing. That's why I do what I do is for you. And after you do this, no longer is there an action, reaction mentality. What you mean? Well, you did this to me, I'm doing this to you. They get back. Forgiveness, understanding. But no, we call it, what's this? There is no longer the action reaction mentality of doing something, why, to someone because someone did something to you. What's this? That's the ignorant part about the human frailty that you need to get over. And let me explain to you right here, closing that out with that. When somebody did something to you, etc., one is more and more able to control one's emotions. Self-mastery is having control over one's emotions, and that dictates your behavior. No longer will it be necessary to act as an animal or to indulge in ignorant in one's egoistic concepts when one is ridiculed or praised. Whether you like me or don't like me, don't change me one way or another. That's the difference. At one time, I want you to like me. And if you didn't like me, I had a problem with that. I'm emotional. That's being controlled with emotion. It don't control me. Why? Self-mastery takes care of that problem. At one time, I would come back. I'm better than that now. Moving on. That's the difference. Okay. And it be no longer would it be necessary to act like an animal and get, my pastor say, you can't wallow in the mud with the pig and claim not to be a pig. I refuse to get in the mud. I refuse to lower my standards to be ignorant. So I take the high road. Like Michelle Obama said, they go lie, they go low, we go high every time. And one, watch this. Now, one will live where? Above. Quick lesson. This falcon, when the blackbird, there's always a blackbird, jump on his back to mess with him, he don't even fight back. He just what? Ascend. When an ignorant person get in a conversation with you, just raise the conversation level. Just raise the consciousness. And they're what? Get off you. Fall off. Why? They can't handle it. Simple. If they elevator go to the 10th floor, yours go to the 20th where the penthouse is, they're never gonna get up there. So leave them be. Don't worry about them. Again, elephant don't worry about a flea on his back. Moving on. When one will live, okay, watch this. When you do this, one will live above those who ignorant concepts by those people. Either they praise or they ridicule. Don't make a difference. I don't care if you like me or don't like me. Again, that don't move the needle for me. So one will live with one's divine essence. That's how I live. And I live in truth. So make a difference. What you say about me, how you feel about me, is still truth that I live by. One will recognize what those ignorant people, okay, in others, and will what be strong enough, watch this, to exercise my empathy and compassion and understanding for them. Still pray for you, my dude. From this position, okay, it will be possible to what? Do my greatest good for others. I know what I do for me. My goal is to do something for somebody else and help them out, even you. Thus, a true transformation will occur. If you think doing nonsense or acting fool gonna get you, it won't happen. So don't worry about it. It's only a transformation that when you have a change of heart by what your actions and your thoughts that made that happen. In ancient Egyptian mythology, watch this. The scarab is the symbol of transformation from what? From mortal ignorance to spiritual enlightened consciousness. Simple as that. Okay, scarabs eat dung. They're the dung beetle. Without them, the whole ecosystem falls out of place. And the Egyptians knew that a long time ago. Another lesson, but that's the lesson. Hope you enjoyed it. No, wait, no. I'm not done. I got some more. Sorry about that. And when you make the transformation, this is the purpose of right thinking philosophy right here. This is the nurturing of the baby Horus or Haru, the divine soul. Why? Of the Father. His Father was God. He's the divine soul. That's us. Hello. And the mother, Aset, she's the life-giving force that brings love, foundation, nourishment, and support. She nourished Haru to get him, prepared him to go take on the world and fight off his eagle uncle, okay, in life. Our parents, our mothers are the first educators. In secret, what happened? Hiding, she kept him in secret hiding until what? He was old enough to what? Do his own battle. With who? His uncle Set. And that's a concept. Why? Because Set is your ego conscious, your lower self. He wants to rise it. Why? She had to prepare him. That's what our parents do. Teach us right from wrong. He's wrong. He's greed. He's ignorance. He represents those qualities in us that if you don't learn, those are qualities that you're going to exhibit as a baby, like a tree. Baby tree is what? Is fenced off to what? Protected. So to what? To move. So too, we must protect what? Our young during the process of coming up in the spiritual world and giving them the information for their spiritual growth by limiting what? Their contact with negative, toxic people or adverse circumstances that will traumatize them and keep them in company with who? People of a raised consciousness, enlightened, sage, preferably moi. That's what I get you to understand. Be your best. So why? We got people coming behind us. Show them, teach them, and wrapping it up. The path of wisdom, aka right thinking philosophy, and action have been emphasized in this volume. I try to get that across to you. However, all paths must be integrated using every aspect of your personality. Although one may focus on one yogic path, wisdom, okay, devotion, I got that coming up for you. And one will find what? That aspects of the others are always involved integrally. That's it. And the essence of this spiritual journey is a personal search. You are in search of what? Yourself. Where is it? Inside yourself. I let the cat out of the bag. How about that? Wrapping it up. Salvation is accomplished through the efforts of you, of the individual. There is no mediator between man and his or her salvation. That's the Egyptian proverb. Reliance or dependency on a particular path or method is useful to a point. But ultimately, what happens? When the nurturing by Aset is accomplished through what? Devoting oneself to what? The discovery of one's true self By listening, reflecting, and meditating on the scripture and the lessons, one must do battle where and vanquish the enemy of the innermost self, which is who? Ignorance, greed, hate, passion, etc. That's set, your lower nature, in all dynamic balance of the opposites within what one's own consciousness must be sought. Ultimately, all paths are transcended. That means if you put the work in, you get the results out. That's the lesson. I hope you understood it. Now, in closing, right thinkers, may y'all let it be 100 and me 100 minus today. So I never know the right thinkers like you